here and how it's going to change. So I think the basis to it is a real idea brainstorming space, and for people to come and take their preliminary ideas just from scratch and have weekly workshops from guest speakers who have, perhaps, started a company or from wherever, and take people through the development stages of taking an idea and starting a company from scratch and give them the resources to be able to do so. So one segment of this that we have in mind is to have weekly sessions of idea pitching, and this would be probably divided up between pitching to peers, like the public, and to our guest speaker and panel, such as Dren and Valmir and whoever else we have sort of on this panel, who are a little bit more credible. So is that clear? I don't know what that is. Besides that, the space is going to be changed into more incubator type space, so where people can come and have conferences with each other, use dry erase boards, have more private rooms over here and over there, and be able to use it for networking, connecting with whoever's here. A big part of that, I think, is showcases, and I think that will be huge and bigger in the spring and the summer outside in the garden, and that would consist of any type of showcase, like inviting students, artists, photographers, videographers to come and just have a fair, a showcase fair, and be able to have everyone, show off their work, network each other, and such like that. Recently, we've been connecting with a lot of the nearby businesses, such as today I just spoke with the American Corner, and are you guys familiar with the American Corner at the library? American Corner was created in tandem with the U.S. Embassy, and they're over at the University Library. So they actually are trying to do something very similar, but they're sort of struggling a little bit with the space and developing it, but they also have people who are coming from a startup and company backgrounds who also want to guest lecture and such like this. So that'll be important, as well as the American Chamber of Commerce. They also want to help and give us as many networking options and resources as they can. So right now it's sort of up to, I think, what everybody wants to put into it and get out of it, and how we're going to build the space. So we'll talk about our travels a little bit. And any questions?
Yeah, but maybe later what we would like to hear it's more about your experience and so on. And maybe later we can open
Questions
and discussion.
Okay.
I mean later, after 10-15 minutes.
Nice.
You made a very good introduction when we meet for the first time, that you said that you were studying in California about photography and so on, and what you have been doing, that you have do documentary and so on, that you work partly as a photographer. Just to...
In Colorado, I studied filmmaking and photography, and so when I graduated, I've begun to travel just back in May, and I've taken my camera and I'm beginning to document my travels and interview travelers, and along the way I've come up with photography gigs, and I work with restaurants and businesses and such like that.
together, but I have owned and operated several businesses in the United States. I am what you might call an employment specialist. I have a number of years with people trying to get them to understand what's a really good fit for them as a job. A lot of people just have a job so that they can pay the rent, but they really hate their job. And so my job was to kind of get a better fit for them in their life. And in my travels, in retiring, I've also had a B&B in Mexico for 3 years, small B&B, bed and breakfast. And one summer I had a partner and we had a mobile hot dog cart on the Oregon coast for this summer, which was kind of an interesting experience. And I've been traveling since May. I've got a plan for a year on the road. I'm going home in May for 2 weeks, and then I'm starting over again. And just seeing everything on my bucket list, trying to see everything on my bucket list before I kick the bucket. But yeah, so when I got here and I heard about this project, I thought, well, it's kind of like down my alley because I've done a lot of those things already. I've been a writer. I was a newspaper columnist. I was a local correspondent for a paper in a different state. So I have a kind of a mixed bag of experience to kind of put on the table for another short time that I'm going to get a week left. But I'm willing to put whatever I've got on the table and answer questions if I can be of service to anybody.
So how you two ended up in Kosovo?
We ended up here together. I was here first.
Okay.
I was here first, and then he showed up. And I said, "How long are you staying?" He said, "I don't know." He's been here what, 3 weeks now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
came for a night and I've stayed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But you were where before
I
coming
was
here?
2 months in Durrës. I was at a hostel in Durrës, and prior to that, I taught school for 3 weeks in Italy. I spent about 7 weeks as a private cook in Spain. I spent 5 weeks in a hostel in the Ring of Kerry in Southern Ireland, and 10 weeks in Northern England on the Scottish border in a B&B where I did cooking and laundry and whatever else needed to be done. And now I'm going to Poland, leaving Sunday, going to Poland, and I'm going to be in an English immersion program there. And the following week I go to the Czech Republic to Prague, and I'm in an English immersion program there. And then I go to Denmark, and I'm going to be with a family that makes unicycles. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going. And then when I come back from the States, I've got another whole, almost a year planned out of places to go and things to do.
So how do you plan all these things? Do you plan them in advance, or?
I have planned quite a few of them in advance. I like to be about 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
And there's a wide assortment of places on the internet where you can go and find opportunities to volunteer. In exchange for your accommodation, you volunteer. So you just kind of have to know what you like to do. I don't want to do farming. I don't want to build a stone wall. You know, there are things that I don't want to do. But and Nicholas told me about the au pair, which I didn't know about that one. So we network with other travelers who tell us things that we didn't know. Oh, didn't know that was there. You can house sit, you can pet sit, you can be an au pair, you can be in a hostel, you can teach a language. Even if you're not a native English speaker, there are people who want to learn Italian, Spanish.
Yeah, I think the accommodations and work exchange began more in like farming. So what's more widely used and available are for farms, and that's usually your fed and room and board is usually taken care of entirely, and it's more like a 8-hour day, and those are all over the world, probably every country, and all through the Balkans and nearby countries as well.
So, from what I understand, the issue here right now is the visa. To get outside of the Balkans, you're kind of limited. But, as Nicholas just said, there's plenty of places within the Balkans that you could go and do this.
Like Albania.
Like Albania, you could go to,
Ferizaj.
well, yeah, you could go, like, I'm interested in UNESCO World Heritage Sites, so you could go to Berat, you could go to Saranda, you could go to, you know, any number of places and just get experience, you know?
We can also go to Mališevo, Vitija,
Yeah,
Pustre.
yeah.
Basically, that's it.
Well, not necessarily to
Putin?
get a visa.
You
Do
can
you want to
also
talk
go to Turkey, so
Turkey? Go to Turkey.
But I mean, you visited, but have you lived there for a period of weeks or months?
Where?
Any
Any
place.
of these cities? Or-
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
like a vacation or something.
No, not a vacation. Like a month or 2 months or 3 months that you go and you actually immerse yourself in the community and the city and the history of it. And I mean, and I understand your frustration with not being able to get out. And the story I told the students at the school was Gibraltar used to be under the thumb of England. Place to go is across the street you can go. But they finally got their freedom and now they can go any place. So for you also, that door will open. That door will open.
I had a girlfriend once, long time ago. And
That was the only one.
I got false here.
She was burned by swords.
I remember we used to take the globe, you know,
Yeah.
and I used to like just spin it around.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you know, if you marry me, I'm gonna take you wherever the finger hits the globe. Like
Yes.
if it's Ferizaj, Ferizaj, Pustre, Pustre,
Yeah.
Kazanik, Kazanik. We're going everywhere. Basically, you couldn't go anywhere. It was just a joke. No, I used to live in Germany for quite a long time.
Me too.
Really? Which place?
I lived in Bad Holtz in Munich, or south of Munich, for a
Okay.
year and a half.
Okay. I lived 3 years or something. And I used to travel a lot. We used to use something called couchsurfing.
Yes.
You know, couchsurfing? And
Where?
we used to use, I used something called Mitfahrgelegenheit.
Yes.
It's car sharing and
Yes.
transportation sharing
Yeah.
that platform, let's say, which we need something here, but I don't know why nobody's doing this.
Blah 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 car.
BlaBlaCar, I think BlaBlaCar bought Mitfahrgelegenheit last year for quite a lot of millions of euros.
Yeah.
But with couchsurfing for me it was easy because I was living in a very small place. And nobody wanted to visit that place, so my couch was never full. But I used to go to, I think I was in every place in Europe, actually, every capital of Europe. But not live there.
Yeah.
Usually we say if you did number 2 in a place, then it actually counted as a I don't know if you use that as a, you know what number 2 is? So there's this is 2. Yeah, you know number 2.
Yeah. We know.
Yes.
I think that's
I
like
don't
universal.
Yeah, exactly. Because I used to go to Liechtenstein and San Marino, Luxembourg. The only thing you can do there is number 2 and not much more to do in Liechtenstein. Good shit. I'm kidding. No, actually,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for.
That's okay.
Fun.
It's okay.
But
You know, we are here for you to pick our brains, to ask us questions, and if we can answer them, we will.
I think that the thing that I would like people here to travel is basically because of the experience that we get. Because when we think about foreign countries, we think only good. Because we compare ourselves with Brussels. Brussels is a bad example of that. We compare ourselves with Paris, Germany, Denmark. But we've never been to Indonesia, we've never been to Congo, we've never been to Peru, you know.
Or North Korea.
Okay, that's also a bad example. But I think we are not living in a bad situation.
No, you're not.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You should talk to James, who came yesterday, who has been to Russia. He's been to Russia,
Siberia.
Ukraine, and Siberia on his bicycle.
Have a bicycle?
On his bicycle.
But every time I talk to you, the people here, I see they complain, it's bad here, it's bad, it's bad. Because they compare Kosovo with Denmark. If you compare it to Denmark,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it's bad. But if you compare it to the rest of the world, it's not that
It's
bad,
not-
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
right?
If you compare America to Denmark, America's not very good either.
Yeah,
So
I don't
don't
know.
compare anything to Denmark.
No,
Yeah,
don't
well,
compare
let's
anything to
not compare
Denmark, no. Compare it to Spain.
Depends which part of Spain, but yeah, okay.
They didn't accept Kosovo, so no.
I don't like Spain.
No, yeah, so I agree with it. You have to. I think as outsiders, you have to tell the people here that this place is not bad.
And I do tell them that, yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people want to go visit outside so bad just because we can't.
Yes,
That's the only thing. If we're able to visit outside, then you're. I don't think people would complain because they would see that we have the same problems. We have the same.
yes.
I don't know. Economical issues, whatever.
And what is the strangest thing that you saw in Kosovo? Any habits or food or mentality or what are the
No.
something strange? It's amazing.
Like that, I think the strangest thing was, you know, over here by that like kind of shopping mall, like you go under the streets, tunnel. Next to that, there's all that construction. They had all, you know, on the top. They had all that construction going on right during the day, and they were like moving, you know, bulldozers too. But people were walking.
We'll see more. And the bombardas were like 500 meters away from to 500 meters. It's the biggest one because there was a military compound there. So the construction site, walk in the park.
Really? Yeah, I know.
I would ask, what is the best thing? What is it that you like? Opposite.
I think Nicholas and I have talked about this, and I think the thing we would agree upon, putting words in his mouth, is the passion that the people here have
For
for
stealing?
freedom, for
Okay,
freedom,
sorry.
for being a new country, for having the potential to do almost anything for the first time. You know,
Yeah,
you get to do
yeah,
things that are new.
Yeah, you still have things here for the
And
first
that's
time, like,
it's exciting. It's
first time.
exciting that you could do things that are brand new for you.
Can I jump onto this? I said this, I think, some time ago in a conference, and I think when I talk to my friends who are still living in Germany, that we studied together there, and I talk to them, and their main purpose in life right now is, okay, what are they going to do on Friday? Go windsurfing, or go snowboarding, or buy some new motorcycle, because they're engineers and getting some nice salary there, whatever.
This is
Because
like
Yes.
little fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly what
this is like the Denmark thing again. I think like, people think about that and they're like, I want to be in Denmark.
This is going to open you up. It's going to open you up to information that you didn't have before, and it's going to put money in your pocket, and you're going to get such a good feeling from having a business of something that you own, that's yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't care. My friends don't care about owning
No.
a business.
No,
That
they
good
don't.
salary, that's it. They care about owning a snowboard
Yeah.
or a motorcycle. Maybe.
Anybody can own a snowboard.
Not really. Yeah.
Not
Germany.
anybody can own a business. Not anybody can run a business, but anybody can own a snowboard.
It's the vice versa here.
What?
Everybody can run.
Yeah.
We run businesses here, but it's really hard to buy snowboard.
Well, everybody here.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I think everybody here works or has a job, so basically it's quite good percentage of people working here right now. But I mean,
Unofficially.
yeah, also
Yeah.
officially,
Yeah.
but I mean on a wider scale, Kosovo is not so good about, I mean, employment there and everything. So that's why I guess every second or every first person that you meet, it's gonna talk about some kind of a business or money-wise, which is I don't know.
We used to joke here sometimes when we ask each other like what's our hobbies. We used to say money.
Money, yes,
So
yes.
we've been through a lot and in a very short time. Starting from Yugoslavia, we've been part of Yugoslavia, so a lot changed from that time. So I don't know.
Is that a
Because as you said, we are comparing. We should not. But
We've improved, yeah.
yeah,
Slowly.
So let me give you a thought. Perhaps instead of comparing yourself to Denmark, compare yourself to the United States, which is physically disconnected from the continental United States. And Alaska is the place where people who are entrepreneurial show up, because there isn't much else there. You have to create.
Right.
When Alaska became a state, all those people had to create that state. They had to create those businesses. They had to build the buildings and make the farms. And all of those people are like you, starting from nothing. And so the heck with Denmark, compare yourself to Alaska. You'd be Alaskans. Because in Alaska when I lived there for 10 years, we say, we don't care how they do it in the other 48 states. We do it our way. So that could be you guys.
Yeah.
Do it your way.
We like to steal a lot.
Yeah. Ideas.
Ideas.
we are isolated because
Yeah.
if we were to travel freely, we would not compare ourselves to Denmark. We could have just go to Denmark and live there.
Trying to do business there.
Yeah, but there you won't be able to open businesses
Yeah.
because they're all taken.
It won't matter.
And which city did you visit in Kosovo? Okay, which village did you visit?
I've been to Yenjeva and Pushkazov.
Kosovo is awesome.
Yeah, it's near. It's like Pristina.
You should go to President if you have.
I just went today.
Yeah.
And?
Do you like it?
I think it's a very, very beautiful city, but it's not a city that I would live in.
Okay.
I very much like Pristina better. I think that you are, I don't know, that was like tourists live there. Tourists go to over there. But real people who have lives every day live here. And the thing that I like about your city, and the surprise for me when I came here, I came from Durrës, where I was for 2 months, and I expected this city to be like Durrës, and it's not. It's like Italy. It's like being in Italy. It's alive. The city's alive. Yeah. So yes, I went and I saw it, but
You should go too. It will
Okay.
be a different experience.
Yeah, I imagine so. I probably won't have time for, like now, but I plan to return in August to see it.
Yeah, also DocuFest, I guess it's on August, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be really messy.
Return to DocuFest.
Yeah.
We're from Brisbane, so we live here. That's why. We like tourists, but only in prison.
so the question is, why do you live here?
Well, work.
Work.
And, yeah.
Because I like
Like
it.
more stuff to do here, so new business. Or,
One of the biggest problems that we are creating right now is that we are centralizing everything in Pristina right now.
Yeah.
Every
that's
company,
kind of bad.
university, every company, headquarters, not even headquarters, everything is located here. University,
Government, everything.
government, everything is located here. I was in Ljubljana some times ago, some time ago, and I saw that Ljubljana, which is quite a big, let's say, center of culture, of economics, only has about 190,000 inhabitants. They said, again, we're going to keep this like an arts and museums and some government, everything, and let it spread around. If you want to build something, companies will invest. Yeah, if you want to get some weed, go to prison. Go to the rest of the things, you stay here, right?
But I think what you'll find is once it becomes established here, then they will move and have a company, an office, a business, another business in some other city. But to have it established here first, you can't do everything all over. You have to start with a nucleus and then spread out.
Maybe if the prices go high here up, I mean, maybe it will spread. But right now everything is centralized in Pristina.
Yeah, and not so easy to serve more services than only one, like expertise on one service, you know. So
Yes.
that's not a good thing, because basically you can't go to prison and open only, I don't know, a design company, because I think Thailand works on design, and because I mean prison has some businesses but not so much that he can work from prison. But then maybe later on, yeah, there could be more businesses in prison also, and then they would need.
Yeah. It just takes time. It takes time to grow.
That's the way how it's the best for Pristina right now, or Kosovo right now.
It's too late.
Well, never too late.
It's not too late because we have
still have
Stenda Mate, he's gonna blow everything up.
We have to work on legalizing weed in prison.
Yeah.
That is something that we are trying to do. That will change a lot the functionality of prison, I think.
Yes.
I hope so. I mean, I would vote for a party which does that.
Yeah, everybody would.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I think that you have to legalize it sooner or later, and prison is the best place to do
I would do it in prison too.
Not in Pristina.
Not in Pristina.
Why not in Pristina?
Because then it would be centralized again.
Okay.
Better or whatever. Their percentage was higher every time because basically they almost had legalization.
And now?
So now I don't know, but I guess now it's gonna drop a lot because I mean officially they stopped everything, but I guess it just moved on, so it doesn't. I guess it's gonna be again the same thing.
I think it's time. It's 2016, and somebody in Balkans has to do it.
I actually think, yeah, we will get a lot of income as a country if we legalize it. You tax
Yeah.
like crazy, and
I don't know if you know, but the state that I come from is legal.
Which state?
Colorado.
We have an employee.
yeah, we have an employee there.
In Alaska, where I used to
always
live,
high.
it's legal. Washington, Seattle,
Alaska.
Washington.
There are like 4 or 5 states I
Yeah.
think
I think it's
right now.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington.
I
Alaska.
think even for the European Union, Kosovo will be a good, let's say, maybe call it as an experiment. Because Amsterdam has been like 15 years now, and we don't know what Amsterdam is. Is it good or bad? I mean, it's touristic attraction now. But if you legalize in Kosovo, then maybe you will see much more information and details about is it working or
Yeah,
not.
I read an article that like we're still in experiment, so why not be first gay marriage first, everything first, like in Europe.
Yeah.
In Europe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like legalize weed, everything. Like,
Why not? Yes, why not?
I mean, it's already.
Yeah.
I lived in
From
Germany.
where?
Prostitution prostitution is legal.
Imagine in
Just-
Kosovo it could be
Yeah.
double, even if we don't have so many people, because
But in every debate, there's not much to debate about. I mean, it's already happening
Yeah.
in very bad conditions, in very like Germany is doing.
And make millionaires, billionaires.
No, man, just
This
take-
kind of business.
I mean, if you
Like-
can use all the weed like Colorado is doing for and investing all that money from weed in schools and hospitals and infrastructure, why not? People are gonna smoke weed, you like it or not.
yeah.
But for 20 years.
Exactly.
But if we turn back to Prizren, for example, DokuFest was quite a push for their economy. So imagine only one festival could do a lot in Prizren's economy. Imagine how could different businesses could increase their economy. But I mean, since everything is centralized, as Serman said, it's very hard.
So what kind of festival would you have?
Bro, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of different festivals in Pristina. That's the point. But only one in Prizren, which is quite famous and quite good. And there are, I mean, people try to do some of the film or music festivals in different cities, but they don't work right now. I mean, I guess they're sick of festivals, everybody. But if you have a quite nice idea of a business that could work somewhere in a different city, which is not Pristina, then probably it could gain also, I mean, better, higher economy, and also it could gain more people to go back to their cities and also work there. So that could work. I mean, trying to open a different business in one city that is nowhere else in Kosovo. The only thing that is working, I think, is these call centers, wherever they are.
Oh, yeah, call centers, oh my God.
They're like in around. Again, they're around Pristina, but they are like in villages and stuff. So
They're just popping up
yeah.
like every day. Job positions. everything.
Yes, I worked in a call center, so I'm,
They're more like commercial marketing call centers. You know, like they call and ask questions and whatever.
market surveys,
Like,
Yeah.
marketing surveys, yes,
not
I
just
did that
surveys,
too.
but also, you know, like investing, or not investing, but how can I say, buying stuff, selling
Yes.
stuff from
Yes.
telemarketing, I guess.
Telemarketing, yes.
And they're hiring 10 people instead of one or something, and then they are paying 10 people with an amount that they can pay for a single person or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because it's so would you do something else? I mean, make this when just the thing is that just everybody could come and work and whatever they want to do. But later on, if it goes well, if everybody wants to work and everybody wants to give ideas and everything, this could come up quite good working environment, and not just a bar and a hostel. So that would be very nice. I don't know.
I would be curious to know if any of you already have business ideas. If there's something that you think you would like to start as a business.
Just generally or related to his?
No, what kind of business do you think you would like to start? Do you have an idea?
People work on it, and they leave it to or whatever.
Yes.
You could use those and just whatever bring them back to life.
And do what with them?
Farming mostly, or
That's one thing, because here you have people who are not uneducated, but they don't have work experience, and I guess those are the type of people that you would have to employ in those sort of fields.
But you don't have any idea what you would grow? What product?
I would not. I don't know. Yeah, you grow weed.
Well,
Genius.
can't grow weed just any place.
Yeah,
So what else would you grow?
No, just like the idea of
Gastronomy a lot. I have been visiting some farm-to-table restaurants in Albania. I think 3 of them till now, and I was amazed by the amount of people that they have, by the clients that they have. Mainly international people. On Sunday, I was in a place called Puka Farm. I don't know if anybody was there.
This is here?
No, it's in Albania. It's close to Tirana. It's a village called Doknas. It's a beautiful place. It's like 2 hectares of land, and there are they have a small restaurant. Everybody was international, mainly English speaking. In Albania, it's becoming like a boom right now. Everybody's doing it. Farm to table. I know in America they do a lot.
Yes, they do a lot. Yes, and there's a famous brand called Melissa. Melissa, and this agricultural brand grows the for plating. And if you think that idea, then I would say to you, go and look at the website Woofing, and go and look at the website Workaway and Helpex and see what they're asking for. See what kind of businesses they have, where they're getting volunteers to come work on their land. There's a lot of ecotourism. You would get a ton of ideas if you went to Woofing and Helpex and Workaway and looked at what kind of business they have that's drawing the volunteers to come and help them grow their businesses.
Because I guess are these supermarkets or whatever, malls or
Yes.
trading and mostly services, so no produce.
Their products are imported, nothing. Like they do not produce. Companies that should be started here is like producing something.
Yes. Yes,
For
I
example,
agree.
reproducing some textile stuff. We have so many people. Kind of business, kind of good business or startup.
Yeah, because basically what we have right now is mostly fashion designers, which is not such a good idea, because
Well, yes, I
mean-
think that's good because they're producing something.
yeah, but it's not in like big
Line,
amounts.
line, yeah.
Then it would be better because it would be cheaper and probably more
Affordable for
yeah.
here, yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, but when you just drop that.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes, if everything is being imported and
Yeah,
nothing is being
everything.
exported, that's not
Nothing
good.
is exported.
That's not-
Or just say
Or
lower
produce,
than
or
1%.
produce, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you need to produce stuff.
As the guy said, for like using the land or
Yes.
to grow something.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have to find ways, because basically the main problem here was taxes on produce, customs on
It's
imports.
like the same. Like the same tax or maybe lower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's the main issue about producing. That's why most of the businesses don't produce, because it's cheaper to import than produce it here. But then you have to find some kind of a way to change that, or at least get around it and produce with lower prices. 'Cause basically, you can import potatoes or whatever, tomatoes cheaper than
people who produced something in, let's say, in the fashion industry, because we're talking about that. So you have somebody who produces jewelry, and you have somebody who produces nice note card stationery, and someone else who produces, I don't know, hand-printed scarves. And you do a website, and you advertise as a co-op to sell these things. Would you have the same tax issues?
I don't think so, but the tax issues would be on their side, I guess. Or you're thinking we should open a company that basically is selling their own products, but from different
Yes.
creators.
We have that.
Yes.
Balkans.
Is it? But is it working like that, or it's working like an e-commerce site for listing?
You list original products.
Yeah, but do they?
Handmade products, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that that business would be like producing, like they are producing, not the other private producers, you know?
There are private producers who produce for them.
Yeah, but do they sell them as their own product,
They
or
sell as their own, not as.
not just getting some percentage for them?
But to get back to your experience, you mentioned that you had a business in Mexico, right?
Yes, I had a bed and breakfast in Mexico.
Could you tell us what were the differences of, let's say, running a business in USA and Mexico, and what were the obstacles? And could you tell us an interesting story?
Business that I had in the United States. But in the United States, we were talking about taxes, very much more structured, people watching, watching your money and reporting, you have to report the money, and they're very eagle-eyed. In Mexico, it's much different, and you can have, like here, you could kind of have a low-key business, and a word-of-mouth business, a small business, and nobody bothers you. Nobody bothers you. And so we had a house. And we emailed our friends and said, if you know someone coming to Puerto Vallarta with a place to stay, we have a place to stay. The most interesting story, I think, is I was on a bus one morning talking to another expat, a woman from England. And she was saying she had friends coming, and she was in a studio apartment, and she had no place to put her friends. And I said, well, we have a B&B. And so they came, and they stayed with us, and they very much liked it. And then you have word of mouth, and then it's like, oh, well, we stayed there, so, it's like the hostel. We stayed there. You put something online, very good. Next person comes and stays, the next person comes and stays. In the United States, it was very much more structured. It was an employment agency. We had an employment agency. We had my resume service, and we had a bartender school. And the bartender school caused us more problems than anything else. A lot of government had fingers in our business with the liquor, with the alcohol. And so we ended up closing that. But we had the other ones that ran quite well until the oil prices dropped, and Alaska is an oil-based economy, and so when there was the big oil drop of the prices, there were no jobs. There were no jobs, and I was lucky. I went to work I contracted with the military and taught career transition, how you change jobs when you come out of the military to the civilian market. So the skills that I had actually transferred nicely over to other things. So if I was going to say something to you about a business, it's like, don't look at the skills that you have as they only fit in this box. And sometimes in Mexico it involves a little bribing. And in America, not so much. Not so much. It's more difficult in America. You have to play by the rules and, have all your paperwork done. Your accountant comes, I see him come, you have to have all your paperwork done. It's much harder.
What was, because you said that you had to run several businesses.
Yes.
What kept you, what was that thing that pushed you to open or to have those businesses? Because you could work in a job for 30
Yes.
years and not doing these adventures.
Yes. We opened the business in Anchorage because when I had my resume business, people would come to me to get the resume done, and they would say, well, I went over here to this agency, but they really didn't pay attention to who I was. They really didn't listen to what I wanted. They really didn't find me the job I wanted. And so it's like, there's a hole here. And we decided that we would fill that hole. And in addition to the bartender school and the employment agency and the resume service, we also had kind of a quiet business that most people didn't know about. It was called a shopping service. And what we did is we contracted with like a large grocery store, like Aldi.
Yeah.
We would contract with Aldi, and maybe it would be Nicholas and I would go in, and the manager of the store would say, well, we think the cashier on aisle number 2 is taking money and putting it in her pocket. And so we would set up a sting. We would create an opportunity for her to put money in her pocket. So he would go through first, and he would kind of fumble with his money, and he would, take time. And I'm behind him, and I'm like, I want to go. And so I would just take my money and say, this is what it is, and I put my money and I'd go. And then he would see, did she put the money in the register, or did she put the money under the counter? So we would do like security things for big stores that thought their employees were stealing from them. And that was a business that nobody really knew we had that we did that. So it was kind of like James Bond. So, I mean, that certainly could be, I don't know if there's a lot of security businesses here I saw. We would just do it. We would just do it. And I have to tell you, there were nights that we actually slept at the business, because we lived the business. We lived doing the business. It was our life. And so we actually had a fold-out bed that sometimes we would just be there during the day and sleep at night. In the morning, we'd be there again. We'd just sleep there. So when you have a business, you have to have a fire. You have to have a fire in your belly. It has to be used to make all of this work.
You mean three? You mean three?
There were 3 people. There were 3 people together that did this in Alaska. We did this for about 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah, and then the oil price dropped out, and then there were no jobs, no resume, So we all we did something else. We all went and did something else.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting stories.
There's all kinds of ideas out there for businesses. All weird, strange, wonderful, technical, businesses that you could run. But when you own a business, it's like the business owns you. So you have to love what you do. You can't just do something for the money. You will get very tired of it very fast. You have to love your idea. You have to love what you're doing. And then the money will come. So don't start it just for the money.
Were you always running these businesses
from past experience of running businesses? Or did you have any education?
I took
In business development.
some college courses in business management and personnel management.
Mostly from experience. you
Mostly
ran
from
these businesses.
experience, yeah. I had worked in an employment agency, I had worked in a personnel department in a company, and had done some sales. So we took all of our talents and skills and put them together, and whatever we were personally good at, we did. And like, I'm not really good at accounting, but Dick was really good at accounting, and so he did all of that. So we brainstormed a lot, and we,
Just kind of doing it. And
we just
going through
did
the
it.
process.
We just did it. Yeah, we did it. And when Georgianne and I bought the hot dog cart, we had a hot dog cart that we ran for a summer on the coast of Oregon.
Get some more hot dog carts in the street, guys.
Yeah, it was a great business, and we had a lot of fun. It was very, very hard work, but we made some good money. And if her father had not gotten very sick, I might still be selling hot dogs in Oregon. I don't know. I wouldn't be here. I'd be selling hot dogs in Oregon.
Chili dogs.
But chili dogs, yes.
It's the best.
Yeah. So if you like food and you like to cook, or you like to grow things, you want to sell food product,
Farm to table.
farm to table.
By the hot dogs
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, well,
Or veggie
you have
dogs.
to raise some winkers for that, yeah.
Yeah, don't slaughter pigs. That sounds like a
Yeah,
good
don't
slaughter.
slaughter-
Sounds good, man.
No.
Don't slaughter dogs.
You
No.
have to get used to
Slaughter
it.
veggies. Slaughter the peppers.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many ideas out there. There's a woman in the United States who had two small girls, and she really liked the designer children's clothes, but she could not afford designer children's clothes. So she started making her children's clothes, and she went to church every Sunday, and other mothers saw the fashions that her children had. It was like, oh, can you make one of those for my daughter? Can you make one of those for my daughter? And so she started making them for other people, and then someone said, why don't you put that online? And so she started, just her, making dresses, putting them online, and then she hired like friends of hers to make them and put them online. And within a year and a half, she had $1 million company.
What?
She had $1 million company, making little children's designer dresses and putting them online. And she only made like a few. You make maybe a dozen of the pink ones and a dozen of the yellow ones. And when they're gone, they're gone. And so people know when they're gone, they're gone. So I better get mine right now. I better hurry up and buy it because it'll be gone. It creates a need when you say, I only have 10 of them.
And fashion can be copyrighted.
Yes.
Like that, so you
Yes.
can copy as much as you want.
Yes. There's a story about two guys that went to, I think they went to Bali, and while they were there, two college guys went to Bali, and they saw these bracelets that this guy was making and selling, wooden bracelets, and they liked them so much they went back to their hotel room. They created a website. They bought all of his bracelets, started selling them online, sold out before they left Bali, and made a deal with him to produce. And so then he had to get his friends, had to hire his friends to make more so that they could put them online and sell them. I mean, there's ideas.
But that's the importing.
Floating.
That we don't want, right?
Yeah, but you can make them here.
Export them.
You could make them here and export them. Yeah. Or you could have the guy in Bali just drop ship them someplace. But that's why I said to you, do you guys have ideas? Do you have ideas of things that you think might work, or things that you might want to do?
No, it's not just ideas. Actually, what we need is a good team. But it's not that we aren't working on our ideas. For example, Trent is already working in his ideas with his hostel, and many of us are already working and trying to, or least we have tried to build our ideas, which doesn't mean that we will have another opportunity in the future. So it's not that we are not working or doing nothing currently, or even just passing by our time. So we are working on it, and we are hoping that that idea of this hostel slash co-working space will work in the future. So maybe this would be an interesting place to develop our ideas as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting here. I've been working for so many years, and so many people, like working in a team is always most of them don't take serious. Like if the idea is like a good idea or something, and you start doing a plan or a brainstorm. So I don't know. It's the culture here. The lazy people, they don't just take serious.
Which part isn't being taken serious? The members aren't taking it seriously,
Well,
or taking each other
Sometimes,
seriously?
not always, but sometimes if you want to start an idea, like
Everybody will tell you
every
that
time.
will take it serious.
yeah, but because
No, they don't.
it's kind of lazy. I mean, the
They don't
atmosphere
know
of
how hard it is
Mediterranean
in the
atmosphere.
beginning. So they expect everything to be easy in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So it's yeah. Because
so they have that enthusiastic spirit.
Or everybody
beginning.
sees that it's profitable, and then they try to divide, everybody, and then it just makes more companies with the same thing, and it's kind of interesting that I guess gas stations were very profitable and trendy also, but probably the law wasn't so good, so you could manipulate everything and sell for a good profit. Then I don't know what else, swimming pools or whatever. There were a lot of same things. Supermarkets, big supermarkets. Because I guess people,
supermarket.
Yeah.
because I
Now
guess
it's
people
trendy.
think
Yeah.
it's easy, and then they just invest. They say like invest 10,000 or 50,000 euros, and you will get on one month more than that. So everybody tries to invest small, but gain too much profit, and then when they see that some kind of a good idea will take more time to like get in their feet and start having profit, they will get tired very easy, and then everybody gets disconnected. And,
That's because they don't love the business.
yeah, I guess.
They love the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to love the business.
Well,
I agree.
This is kind of culture here. Not making people
But-
to love
but it's-
the thing, because after the war things changed here, so like the culture here is made. It's easy to make money. So if it's not easy, you're not do it.
It's like that in America as well.
Okay.
It's like that in America as well. There are people who are lazy,
Yeah.
who want just give it to me. It's like but doing brainstorming with the business people because they're on a different track.
Yep.
So that's why I left
That's
the book for you.
Yeah.
I think that's to separate these kind of people here.
Yes. So if you want to go home at the end of the day, then you're a job person.
Well, I'm not.
Okay?
Well, my
If you-
girlfriend
if you
is
wanna
always
continue to work,
telling me that you're being so
You're a
late. Why
business
that?
It's like, oh, 4:30, time to go home.
No.
No, then you're a
I'm not
job.
like that.
No, then you're a
not like
business
that.
person, not a job person. It was nice meeting you.
Home and work.
Thanks for meeting you. Thanks for inviting me.
Nasıl
Fajnie,
çok
że je tak
ja
było.
tej
No szybciej. Fokus na temat ulan.
Here's another thing that I imagine, because if the space is used as to get people to start from scratch and just bring their ideas, and then you give them the resources to begin to start their companies? You know, what's like what you're saying, you know, is, you know, eventually the fire is lost and like they get somewhere, but then, you know, it falls, right?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
So you're saying that eventually, you know, people start with something and they get somewhere, but then
It gets hard.
Yeah.
it stops. But like
It's
that's,
very hard.
and you know, that's probably the most common thing that happens. But like if this space is to be used to help people to begin stuff and get to that point and maintain, you know, the fire, then, you know, how can it be used to further, you know, keep people inclined to continue, you know, the business and keep it, you know, what are the resources that need to be sustained to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it could help more.
it's like something like a worry that like,
I think
because I think it's an incredible idea to have the space, you know, used
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
but then you don't want it to just fall, you know, just completely shatter,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah, but-
I've been struck just they and I'm
Yeah, but I guess it happens here more or less. That's what I guess is saying. Because, I mean, you can have different experiences, different people, you know. But I had, I don't know, I had like two businesses that is right now this one.
And with some people, that mentality kind of goes right along with them. It doesn't change. Like in the United States, people who are generations on welfare. It's hard to change that idea that now you have to actually work. You have to do something. And if a person has that thought process, it's very hard to change it.
Yeah, I guess
So-
that's the thing. As I don't know if you heard, like officially it's like 40% unemployment here or something like that. But the thing is that most of the people, I mean, we usually live with our parents and we are a big family usually in our homes, and then most of the time only one person in the home works, you know. So basically everybody is used to welfare, so everybody is used to stay at home or at least just go out on coffee bars and stay all day on coffee bars while drinking coffee. So maybe that's the same culture which is quite the majority here. So
That culture is also in Albania. I've seen that
really?
culture.
Oh.
I have seen that culture
Yeah.
in Italy,
uh-huh.
and I have seen that culture in Spain.
I just said like Mediterranean culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, that's what it is.
I don't know,
Mediterranean culture.
maybe that.
Ah,
Also in Greece.
I haven't been to Greece, so I
Yeah,
can't.
but I
can't
mean
say.
the crisis.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
I think like the lazy people like
You know, so it may take one or two full generations to change that
yeah,
mentality.
maybe.
Yeah, well, whatever gives rise to it, you know, like you don't want it to happen here in your coffee bar, right?
Yeah.
But then, so should there be like a workshop every month that's dedicated to this topic, you know, type thing, like
Well, yeah, it could be a nice idea actually.
something like that?
Something like not changing the way of thinking, but at least giving some
Like advice or
Advice
or,
on like if people are at this stage, you know, and they feel like it's a little shaky or something like that.
yeah, that could work.
But also, you know, people will be able to network them, you know, with other people and get rid of, you know, some people and add, you know, add subtract type thing.
Yeah, those
If
people
that's
who are
what's
not,
necessary.
people who are not serious will drop. They'll drop out.
yeah.
Serious people.
Best from people.
How do I find the best from people?
How did you did that?
So I would have to talk to you. So
like
This
So
is like
let's-
life coaching.
this is like life coaching. Yeah, this is like life coaching. So let's play for a few minutes.
oh my
Let's
god.
play. We're
Get
just
this
gonna
guy
play.
another beer.
Just to
No, no.
tell me.
We're just gonna play. We're just gonna play. So I would say to you, what that you do in your life that you really enjoy? Could be hobbies, could be anything.
Yeah, hobbies.
What do you
Mostly
like?
hobbies, like outdoors, mountains. I really like that.
Okay. What kind of job do you have now?
Designing stuff. Like
Inside.
interface, like
Yeah.
indoor.
Indoor,
Yeah.
but you like outdoor.
Yeah.
So, if you could design things and be outdoors, would that be like perfect?
I started something like that. Started well. I mean, not really started. So
How do you think you could make it better? What could you do differently that would make it easier or better or allow it to grow?
well, this one is difficult to use. It's really difficult. Really hard. So I don't know. Spreading the word, like you said, word of mouth,
Okay.
and doing events or helping community, getting like the best from them, showing to other people who don't see that, and growing the community. It's kind of like this. That was the idea
Okay.
why I started. So,
And how would you find the people that you're going to talk to? Where would you find them?
well, like doing my activities like outdoors. I have so many friends, so I will use that, like my friends, and connecting with other friends, and then those friends, other friends, and like that.
Okay.
Like doing clubs or like, for example, a ski club or mountain biking club or I don't know, hiking, whatever.
Okay.
These
So-
kind of stuff.
Okay, so now you have all these different activities that you like, and you have people that you network with to make
That product or that.
and do we have a name for the product? What is it?
Well,
What would you call it?
we thought calling that like I don't know how it's in English. In Albania is kalu. Kalu. Move on. Burn like burn. Like get burned.
Yeah.
Like feel the burn.
Oh, feel the burn.
Like burn. Yeah.
Feel the burn. Okay.
Like burn.
Okay.
It's like that.
Okay. And who would you sell this? Is this a service or a product?
Well, first is a product, then we will sell like marketing place in there, like helping others to produce stuff for that community, so kind of like that.
Okay.
So this is the kind of product.
Okay.
Sounds
So
like activity.
it sounds.
Yeah, so many activities.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you want to be the liaison.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The liaison, the go-between, the person who makes things, puts people together, and puts things together.
Yes.
That you want to be the one to bring it together and
Yes.
say, here it is. So you want to be a liaison.
I didn't know what that. That's the name for that.
Google liaison. It's a French word, and it means to be the go-between, to be like the messenger. You're going to bring the message to the people. You're going to gather them together,
Okay.
and you're going to kind of direct them
Okay.
to where they're going to be. So, a person who is a liaison needs to have different kinds of skills and abilities and talents. So, if I said to you, what are the 5 things that you are best at doing? I'm looking for things like I'm good at organizing, or I'm good at managing projects, or I'm good at. So, what would be 5 things that you are really, really good at?
I'm only on design, but kind of making a structure of how things will work,
Okay.
like making rules maybe, that just rules that helps, like a process.
Got process.
Doing a
Okay,
process,
so,
like
okay,
rules for
so
process, like how we
structure,
structure, yeah.
process. Structure and process are not the same.
Okay.
You have to have a process in order to get to the structure. There has to be some kind of
The guy
scaffolding
that
in a
was
building.
here actually
Okay,
just
so
checks
structure,
startups and
process,
stuff
what
like
else?
that. So
Design.
basically,
Design.
he's not really interested until it gets well known, you know, like. But I don't know.
He's
the
a
other
great
guys-
lover as well.
He's a great lover.
Yeah.
Is that a name on
Uh,
those five?
Maybe that's
Don't
over
you see
here.
on that
The guy
girl
that
by
was
his
Yeah.
side?
he
Yes.
owns some kind of
Yeah.
outsourcing business. So
So,
she was just checking out.
how could we say that without
Saying
saying
what
he's a
it
great
is,
lover? What kind of
what it's done.
personal
Because there
attributes
is,
is that?
as I told you, some kind of small community of
Yeah.
He engages
people
you
that
engage
go on
people.
startups,
Okay.
you know, startup
Got one
events
more.
and stuff. And that's basically they were probably those guys that checked it out.
I think confidentiality.
Ah,
Because when he talks, you believe in him, like what he's saying. So,
he creates a feeling of confidence.
yes.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yes. See, when you,
Well, no,
when
we
you
didn't
have
actually discuss
collaboration,
the
when you have
idea
collaboration,
Of the
you only
idea
see
lab.
you from
We
inside out.
just
They
just
see you
put
from
it
the
out,
outside
you know,
in,
so
okay?
maybe
So you
we
need to
could have
listen to what they tell
make
you.
it more, I don't know, some kind
So,
of
if you were going to, if I was going to
information or
design a
presentation,
resume for
but
you,
it's okay, people will
I would have
slowly.
5 words at the top. And those 5 words would be structure,
Yeah.
process,
Business.
design,
Engage.
engage, and confidence builder. So you are a liaison person. You are a person who can bring together different people with different ideas and make them work.
Okay, can you tell me that like çüşme şurufta fiyalın çüşme fiyalın
Liaison. L-A-I-S-I-O-N. Liaison. It's French. It's a French word.
Yok, to zure tako nešto. To se ambasada i on liaison jedan.
Okay.
So this is the how it works.
I will.
You ask some
The
questions.
resume, yeah.
You
I
find
will.
out.
I would like to show you something. Not today, but when you come in the next time. There, you know, we look at a resume, we look at a CV, and it looks like this. When you look at a resume or CV, it looks like this. Everything's listed. There is a new way to do this that is graphic. It's graphic design. And I would like to be able to show that to you when you come in. I'm leaving on Sunday, but if you come in someday and I'm here, to other people. I would say, in a very small amount of space and time, I would say to you, this is what I can do for you. I am a person who can think outside of the box, who can motivate not only your employees, but I can also motivate your customers. And I can help you produce more money than you have produced in the past. So when you talk about what you can do for someone, you have to see yourself as that CV. You have to see yourself as that advertisement. What does the advertisement say? What are you advertising? Who are you? What do I get? If I pay my money, what do I get? I get what's in this. I get what's in this advertisement. Okay. So someday, this week when you come in and I'm here,
Okay.
tap on me and I'll bring my computer out and I'll show that to you because it's exciting and new and interesting, and I think it would be something that would work for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did we all have fun?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to play? No.
Well, I think can stop this thing now.
Ja, jättestigt.